people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
Listen. You can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off.
Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now on the Cure hotline at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty then.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Friday afternoon to you, and welcome into the McFarland Show. We're live here today for 2 hours.
Yes, we are. 2 full hours.
We're not getting bumped. We're here till 4. We're excited. Afternoon stretch is on today, too. We got a lot going on.
We sure do.
This is a fun sports day.
Listen, first of all, there's a lot going on in the city in general.
Yeah.
Even, in the sports is great. But, I don't think people really understand all the stuff going on in Nashville in general this weekend. It is a crazy weekend. The Oktoberfest, all the festivities over there in Germantown, TSU Homecoming with a big concert. Keith Urban is at Bridgestone tonight. Then Pitbull, Mr. 305, is at Bridgestone on Sunday night. And, on top of that, you got, SEC football on West End. That's all in town. That's all within a few miles of each other. Is all happening here this weekend, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other things I had not mentioned. My Chemical Romance is in town tomorrow night, if you're into that. So you went from Keith Urban to My Chemical Romance to Pitbull to Smashing Pumpkins coming up on Monday night at Bridgestone.
There's a plethora of knowledge today of concerts.
Well, kind of the other thing
it's
I was
brought to you by
Ticketmaster.
We should get that sponsored.
We might be able to.
And you could just give us the rundown of shows every day.
No, seriously though, it's crazy. The town is going to be packed this weekend. A lot of stuff going on, and happy to be here talking about it.
All right, I've got a question for Ray that everybody out there listening doesn't care. But I do, because I want to know how to fix this. Why is it Justin is set up perfectly, but I'm always hiding behind the microphone? By the way, you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, Facebook Live, Twitter.
Well,
and a lot of you are, and we appreciate that. And I want it to be right. Maybe I should hide my face. Maybe it's better for the show. But I'm always hiding behind the microphone. You're set up perfectly where that's the view I need. But for some reason, I have trouble getting that view.
Because I've spent a long time in front of TV cameras.
Oh, it's because you're the TV guy. I
Well,
get it.
no,
That makes sense.
It's not because I'm the TV guy. It's because I have spent a long time in front of lenses like this. And, you just have to position yourself.
You know how to position yourself.
Yeah, that's all. If I sat over there, I could position myself better than you're doing right now.
Okay, could I get this Justin TV to help me during the break?
Sure.
To adjust my camera, my seating, my view for the viewers out there that are listening to the show.
We can get your lighting together. We can do the whole thing without question. We can. Yeah, if you want that,
I'm excited.
We can get you the treatment, man. We can make it happen.
By the way, this Justin TV is Justin's Twitter handle.
That's my Twitter handle.
Mine's at DMAC_Nash Sports.
Yeah, see, you got all kinds of stuff going on. I'm looking at your shot. You got, first of all, your water bottle's way too close to you.
Oh yeah,
that's a problem.
So that's in the shot.
It's all in the shot.
It's not sponsored, but
that's
yeah,
not
it's
good.
in there.
It's all in there.
How about? I just removed it.
Yeah, see, that's number one. Then you need to move back. You need to raise the mic. We'll get you together.
We'll get this Justin TV to fix me.
That is my answer, by the way.
That
was my answer.
IEC Justin.
That was my answer.
I know. I did go Ray, and then it was
that
like,
was my answer.
Oh, wait a minute. Here's Ray. Your response. Yeah, what Justin said. So all I was doing was stalling because, unfortunately, we had to bring up what took place. Actually, no, we don't. You know what? No, we don't.
No, we don't have to.
No, we don't have to. Real quick.
We don't have to.
As you mentioned, there is a plethora of things going on, including the NHL season has begun in Prague, Czech Republic. Remember, we checked in with Pete Weber yesterday. That's where the Predators are starting off their regular season. Yes, today's game counts. Now, the rest of the league is still playing preseason games.
Yes.
But the Predators are beginning their regular season today,
This
and
is
it's
one
tied at 1.
This is one of 81 today, right?
This is one of
82. Excuse me. One of 82.
It's tied at 1 through a period of play.
Okay.
The Sharks' first goal, which was not the first goal of the afternoon here, by the way, it's night over there, would be Thomas Hertl. The first goal of the 2022-23 season for the Nashville Predators. I mean, who didn't have this on FanDuel, right? The first goal of the game. This was so easy. Who couldn't see Kiefer Sherwood with the first goal of the season, right? Like, that was easy.
Could not.
Oh,
but
actually, probably nobody. Like, you talking about a trivia question like 3 weeks ago? First goal of the Predators season, and you said, you know what? I bet you could get good odds on Kiefer Sherwood, and most people would be like,
probably have better odds on UC.
Who?
UC Soros.
Who? Yeah.
Probably better
I don't
odds.
mean to laugh, but that's actually a pretty good. I don't think it's going to be quite the same because today he's playing on the second line with Johansson and Niederreiter, so he's a top 6 forward. But I bet his odds were still really, really high.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kiefer Sherwood, what a story! Not only did he make the roster, he's starting opening day or opening night, depending on where you are. He's the first goal of the season.
Who needs Yossi? Who needs Phil Forsberg?
Duchesne, Johansson, Niederreiter, Granlund. Who needs that, right?
Who needs those guys?
When you've got Kiefer Sherwood, Tanner Jeannot. Well, in all seriousness, good for him. I mean, wow. This is going to be I'll be curious to see if he sticks. I mean, remember, he's Tomasino. We all thought Tomasino, who played the full season, his rookie season last year, was going to be that guy. Again, it's still early. It's a game, but it'll be quite the story if, let's say, 2 weeks from now, he's still on that line.
This could be like when we thought Dontrell Hilliard was going to replace A.J. Brown. Like that first game. That first game, he scored 2 touchdowns. It's like, who needs A.J. Brown?
And
if
everybody was
Dontrell
rushing
Hilliard to score these touchdowns for us.
Now, do you play fantasy football or no?
I do not.
Oh, boy. Golly.
Sorry.
Golly.
I'm busy.
Everybody, you're busy. You're busy.
Sorry.
What? Because the 14 million people in this country that do play like myself aren't busy? It's for the people who aren't busy. Fantasy football.
I just haven't. I've tried in the past.
Just say you don't want to do it. It's not because of your schedule.
I'm not very good at it. You know,
okay,
I
you're
log
not very
in,
good at it.
and then I never go back and change the team.
Well, that's a problem.
So, I'll draft the team in August, and then
you just leave it
I
alone.
just leave it alone,
Yeah,
and
that's a
then it
losing
doesn't
formula.
work out.
Yeah.
It doesn't work out.
Yeah, that's a losing formula.
Yeah.
That's where, to your point, that's where everybody was rushing to pick up Dontrell Hilliard after the first week, and then you haven't seen anything since.
There's always the week one hero that you think is going to be
This
the
is the
breakout.
guy. Oh, yeah.
Same thing, the NBA, somebody will come out opening night and go for 45 and people will lose their mind. And then the average is 8 per game for the rest of the year.
We'll keep you posted on the Predators' score against the Sharks throughout the course of our show. Also, Major League Baseball playoffs underway. Postseason play, one game already in the books. And my Guardians took care of business, taking game one over the Rays 2-1.
Okay.
Justin Bieber with the win.
Okay. Now, what does this mean anymore? What are we doing now? Because I feel like Major League Baseball has changed. Like, what's happening now? What does that mean for the Guardians, Darren? Was that a sudden death? Is there a game two? What are we doing?
Yes.
Yes, both?
It's just game one. Yeah, so there'll be a game two. So they lead the series. It was not a one-off, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. So the best, okay. All right, we'll see what happens.
And right now the Cardinals and Phillies are underway in St. Louis. They're they're heading to the bottom of the fourth. No score between St. Louis and Philadelphia. Okay, I guess we must talk about what was the, hot, steaming, piping pile of garbage.
Garbage.
That was last night.
It was.
I said on Twitter, I'm canceling my Amazon Prime membership subscription just because of their programming that they put on last night.
Maybe, Amazon has a good return policy. Maybe they will give you a 30-day, is there a 30-day refund for last night's football game? Can we send that back and tell them it was damaged when it got here? And can you please send me another? Because this is not going to work. I was promised one thing. I was promised 2 future Hall of Fame quarterbacks on the backside of their careers with new teams trying to make a new start. And instead, we got whatever that was. And Darren, as you know, right, I watched a ton of football. That had to be one of the worst football games I've ever seen. And I'm not exaggerating. That was bad. That was really bad.
It was so bad. The Denver fans, if you had already turned it off and said, I give up,
crazy.
They're heading to overtime. Hey, free football, extra football for free, more than 60 minutes. They said, nah,
no,
pass.
No, you know how much it is to get, you know how much you paid to get in there?
Yeah.
And you're leaving when they're getting.
Just going to go home. Thanks. No, I think I'm going to bounce.
Man.
I think 60 minutes was enough for me.
Man.
They were leaving. They were filing out of. I hesitate because I call it Mile High, but they change names every year. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is anymore either.
Mile High presented by,
I thought it was Invesco, but I don't think Invesco is around anymore. Sure. I don't know what it is. So
showcased by AT&T, brought to you by Global. I don't know what it's called, but they were filing out of the stadium, heading into overtime.
Listen, whatever it was called, I think they too were taking their name off the stadium last night. Maybe that's why we don't know what the building was called. Maybe it was called one thing, and they came back to them and said, no, that's not us anymore. No.
How do you explain what? Let's just start with Russell Wilson because he's younger. At least Matt Ryan is he's staring down 40. He's on the doorstep. Russell Wilson's not there.
Russell's 33.
And he signed a $225 million contract.
Incredible.
He looks like he jumped off a cliff career-wise. It looks like he should be singing backup for his wife instead of playing football. That was awful. What's happened to Russ?
That is a great question. And I don't know if Russ can even answer that at this point because you have to realize, with a guy like Russell Wilson, who is now in a brand new city, maybe he doesn't know how important it was for him to be in Seattle. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe I don't know what was there. I don't know if it was something in the water. I don't know if it was something in the diet of the fish market up there or whatever it is, something they serve, a special latte at the Space Needle, whatever it is. It seems to be back there in Seattle where he left it. And the reason I say that is because if you look at how he looked game one, which happened to be in Seattle, he looked much more like the Russell Wilson that we are used to seeing than this current rendition that, the final play last night on the 4th and 1. Listen, I used to sit in fear of Russell Wilson in the pocket in situations like that. He can't pick up a yard? Are you kidding me? He's picked up a yard 400 times in that exact situation in a variety of ways. Whether he, beats the defensive end to the corner to get the yard, whether he jukes somebody in the middle of the line to get the yard, whether he just tries to stick his forearm into somebody's chest and get the yard. It's almost like he didn't even know what down or distance it was and was so focused on getting the touchdown on his first read that he missed the open receiver, and even missing the open receiver is forgivable if you're going to use your God-given legs to get out of that situation, which he just refused to do. Instead, he forced the ball into I don't know how many different people coverage that was there, and it just didn't work. None of it made sense for what we know this individual to be that we've been watching for nearly a decade on the highest level of football possible.
Over a decade.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Maybe he's going to go play baseball. No,
I don't think he's doing that.
No, not with that contract. You're right. Not with that contract.
No.
So KJ Hamler's wide open.
Yeah.
The Nathaniel Hackett, is that the head coach?
It is.
In the first week, he was okay kicking a 78-yard field goal rather than let Russell Wilson go for it.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't want to kick the field goal.
He wants to put the ball in Russ's hands.
Put the ball in Russ's hands.
Now, listen, the guy, if he's your franchise quarterback, again, I don't even have a problem with him missing the open receivers. Quarterbacks miss open receivers all the time. That happens. What I have an issue with is he seemed to panic on the throw and did not seem focused on getting the yard. He seemed to be so fixated on being the hero in some way that he didn't take what was already there for whatever the reason. I don't understand that. And he's got to get inside and figure it out. And that's the thing. Listen, there's no Pete Carroll to go see this time, when things get rough. There's no there's nothing familiar around. This is you in a new city and a new team that just has to get it together somehow. Without the support system, without your fan club, without, the things that you have accomplished. You can't walk out there and see your banners in the stands and remember what you've done out here before. All that stuff is gone. And you just got to figure it out. So you're there playing under John's banners and Peyton's banner, and you are expected to add a banner of your own.
Looks pretty far away right now. They just don't look very good. I don't know if it's Hackett. I don't know if it's Russell Wilson.
And listen,
I don't know if it's both.
That could be it too.
Their defense is good enough. I know they just lost Javonte Williams, but they're just that was. I can't even explain that last night. Like, Matt Ryan is so thankful that Russell Wilson is a bigger star than him.
Yeah.
Because Russell Wilson's getting kind of the brunt of the conversation today. And Matt Ryan was just as pathetic.
And
nobody's
Ryan,
really, they're not piling on him today because
to
Russell Wilson's a bigger star.
To the victor goes the spoils.
Well, and they won, right? Somebody had to win.
They won, so he doesn't get blamed. That's all.
He's just as bad. They're awful. Like their offensive line. What happened? Remember when the Colts' offensive line was their strength?
Yeah.
Their offensive line is awful. They're going to get Matt Ryan killed. He's not very good. You can see without Jonathan Taylor, and then Hines goes down. Naheem Hines goes down and a minute into the game. And by the way, that was the easiest call ever.
Absolutely.
When the minute he got up and did the wobbly, I tweeted out, "Yep, his night's over. Forget it." The NFL has already called the Colts and said he will not. I don't care what you diagnose.
Nope.
If you go down the tunnel,
Nope.
if you go back in the back room and get an MRI or whatever, you go in the tent. I don't care what you do. He's not touching the field tonight.
I don't care if he goes dips in the River Jordan.
Doesn't
and comes
matter.
Back.
Yes.
We're not doing this.
Nope.
No.
He can turn water into wine.
We're not
He's
doing it.
Not touching
doing
the
it.
field.
Not doing it.
Not touching the field.
Not doing it.
He can feed the masses with a loaf of bread. He's not going back on the field. That was the easiest call ever, right? So I guess no Hines, no Taylor, Pittman. They've got a good receiver in Pittman.
Sure.
Mo Alley Cox is a very good, serviceable tight end.
The tight ends seem to be talented.
They looked lost on offense.
Well, they couldn't protect anybody. You can't, when Matt Ryan was getting, I think, what was that? They went from 1st and 10 at the 15.
The 2 sacks in a row.
And then they ended up with 3rd and 38.
3rd and a mile.
3rd and 30. No, I remember it was 3rd and 38. I remember that because I've never seen a 3rd and 38 before.
Well, you did last night.
I did last night.
Yeah.
Well, we all saw a lot of things last night
that we had seen before.
that we had never seen before. And by the way, there is, the final score of last night's game was 12-9 in favor of the Indianapolis Colts in overtime. Apparently, a few years ago, the Tennessee Titans played a 12-9 game in overtime against the Cleveland Browns. Now, I vaguely remember this contest, and I don't remember it being near this bad. You watched all the time. Do you remember this?
Well, what happens is you typically delete these games from your memory. You just say, that didn't happen, and you move on. Or you talk about it for a week, and then you move on. Whenever the next game happens, it evaporates.
And
it
then
just goes away.
It just goes away. We just found that. When did that? That never happened.
Right. Why would you keep that in the memory banks?
There we go. October 22nd, 2017. Ryan Suckup in overtime gets the win for the Titans with the field goal to win it. 54-yard field goal with 40 seconds left in regulation to tie it, and then won it in overtime.
Was that the Hugh Jackson Browns? 5 years ago?
I would need to do closer examinations to figure that out. It could have been.
Wow.
It could have been.
Preds have just struck again in the second period. Ellie Tolvanen, his first goal of the season. Predators leading the Sharks 2-1 with about 14.5 to go in the second period over in Prague. That's where their season has begun. They'll play the Sharks, turn around and play them again tomorrow, same time in the Czech Republic. We'll come back. Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com.
Terry probably remembers that game.
Oh, he remembers it. We're going to ask him. He'll remember it, or maybe he did what I said. Most people do. It evaporates. They just delete it from the memory banks. But Mike Vrabel has already ruled out some pretty important pieces for Sunday's game against the Commanders. By the way, we will head to the nation's capital in the second hour, and we'll get a report on no longer the FTs. They're the Commanders. We'll do that at 3 o'clock. But next, we'll come back with Terry McCormick here on the McFarland Show, live on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Football season is underway, so now's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with the promo code GregP. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props. You can combine your bets for a chance at an even bigger payout with that same game parlay, live betting, all of that on the app. Safe, secure, and super easy to use. And my favorite part of FanDuel is that app. Sign up today with promo code GregP for your no-sweat first bet. Promo code GregP. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Now, you have to be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets. Expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Douglas is a real Prevagen user and paid testimonialist.
My name is Douglas. I'm 79 and I live in Chicago. I'm a writer, director. I used to be a marathon runner. Now I'm a walker. And the kind of work that I do, you are surrounded by people who are all younger than you. Memory became a factor. As everyone gets older, where did I put my keys? But I had to get help to stay competitive. I happened across Prevagen, and I started taking it. I saw myself having an improved memory, which at the same time, I felt better about myself. I could not be doing what I'm doing today had it not been for Prevagen.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. Prevagen is available in stores everywhere. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Lieutenant, can you tell us what happened today?
Our officers responded to a crash on I-40 westbound this morning. The driver of a pickup truck lost control of the vehicle, veered left, and went into a ditch.
911, what's your emergency?
We've been in a crash. Please send someone. My fiance is hurt.
A front seat passenger was wearing a seatbelt. She survived without injury. The driver was not wearing a seatbelt and was ejected from the truck. He died at the scene.
Law enforcement writes tickets to save lives. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Your Atlanta Braves are National League East champions.
In the air to right field, Ronald Acuna back. Ronald is under it. The Braves have won it again. For the 5th year in a row, the Braves are champions of the National League East.
For the 5th straight season, the Braves are kings of the East. And we're ready to bring you every single moment of the NLDS and the entire 2022 Braves playoff run. All live on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Back here on the McFarland Show, Darren McFarland, Justin McFarland. Weekdays, 2 to 4 p.m. We're here at the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Let's go to our Cure hotline. That number, by the way, is 615-844-5600. One Terry McCormick from TitanInsider.com is standing by. Terry, have you deleted from the memory banks, or do you have very fond recollection of the Titans-Browns 12-9 overtime thriller in October of 2017?
Oh, I had kind of forgotten about it until last night's debacle.
How long did you watch last night? Did you take it to the end?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
Because there was no playoff baseball on.
Yeah, I found it to be like, you always say like the train wreck or the car wreck, you can't turn away. Like, I just couldn't turn away. Like, unfortunately, there was really no other options. Like, I wish the Predators would have started their season last night, or like you said, Major League Baseball start the playoffs last night. There's no other good sports options, but I think I honestly would have liked to have just watched like a cooking show instead. But for some reason, I just hung in there and I watched it all the way to the end, and I just sat there the whole time going, why? Why am I doing this? Like, I don't even care at this point who wins.
Yeah, it was bad. At one point, I tweeted out a tweet that had a photo of Russell Wilson and a photo of Matt Ryan, and I slugged it done and dunner.
Well done, Terry. Well done.
It was bad.
Mike Vrabel has already ruled out on this Friday afternoon some pretty important pieces that will not make the trek to Washington and will not try to help the Titans beat the Commanders. Why don't you lay it on us? The injury front is not kind right now.
No, and it's kind of been that way for a couple of years now. They're the guys who won't make the trip and play in the game. Most of them are on the defensive side of the ball. The only significant guy that's on the offensive side of the ball is, of course, Traylon Burks, who we saw get carted off last week at Indy with that toe injury. The others, though, safety Amani Hooker is going to miss his second straight game. They're going to be without Bud Dupree again. They're going to be without Zach Cunningham again. They're going to be without Ola Adaney. And they're also going to be without backup inside linebacker Joe Jones. So, they've been fortunate. They've been able to find these guys either as backups like Dylan Cole or on the street like Joe Schobert. And they've been able to fill in. And some of these guys have played pretty well, but it's a crazy situation that this team has dealt with for the last couple of years with all these injuries and just having to plug in guys here and plug in guys there. On the one hand, it's inexplicable. On the other hand, you kind of got to tip your hat to the coaching staff to be able to get these guys up and get them ready to play and have them perform halfway decently for the most part. There have been a few flubs, but, for the most part, I think there have probably been more guys who've held their own than there have been guys who've come in and just stuck it up once they've had to fill in for an injury.
Which one is the biggest loss in your opinion?
Well, I think obviously on the offensive side, you would like Traylon Burks to be there, but I'm going to go the other direction. I think when you lose pieces of that defense like Bud Dupree and Amani Hooker, two key starters.
You have to name one. I need one.
Okay.
You have to pick
right.
one.
I'll go with Bud Dupree because I think they need every facet of pass rush that they can get. And I think that they need to be able to get pressure on the quarterback without blitzing. And when Bud Dupree is out there and healthy, even with Harold Landry gone, Rashad Weaver's been a nice fill-in on the other side. They've been able to, to generate some pressure without having to manufacture it. And that's what they like to do because if you can generate a pass rush with four, it does so much for your defense because it allows you to cover better because you got more guys that are back there in the coverage area. And it also means that you're probably doing a decent job of stopping the run as well because you're not having to send extra guys, and so everybody is kind of accounted for and has their own assignment that's normal as opposed to having to blitz, having to do exotic things. So I just think that Dupree not being there means they might have to get a little more creative on the defensive side of the ball to get to the quarterback.
I would have said Amani Hooker, but I think both answers are. I think they're a 1A, and I think it's to each his own. I just think they're secondary. They need a guy like him because, let's be honest, they don't have strength in numbers in that secondary.
No. They're struggling in the secondary, because they can't get guys healthy. You mentioned Hooker, obviously, being out for a second straight week with that concussion. They've had issues at the cornerback position where, Christian Fulton missed a game. It does look like they're going to get Ugo Amadi back this week so he can man the nickel position and maybe hold that down until Elijah Molden is ready to take it back over. Because they've been having to move Roger McCrary into the nickel spot. I think he's better suited to play outside because that would solidify the cornerback position with Fulton on one side and McCrary on the other because I think it's evident now with what we've seen of the sample size of Caleb Farley that he's a work in progress. And, for his sake, you hope he continues to improve each week. But right now, you wonder if he's really ready for that huge of a role in the secondary that he's had to play in a couple of games.
I know punters' lives matter. Most people don't talk about punters unless they're bad. But what do you make of Stonehouse to this point? I mean, by the way, is there a franchise that's been more blessed with punters than since the Titans/Oilers arrived in Nashville? The last 25 years? I mean, they have not missed a beat at that position, right?
Pretty
I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
Craig Hentrick to, Brett Kern to now this.
Yeah, they've really been fortunate. They've really been able to find good punters, and not only guys who, can just punt the football, but guys who can make a difference by flipping the field or with those, knuckleball punts that sometimes force a turnover, that sort of thing. Plus, we haven't seen it out of Stonehouse. I don't know if he's going to be that kind of guy, but, there were times where with Hentrick and Kern, they weren't afraid to fake a punt and let him run with it or let him, even throw a pass. So they were pretty athletic at that position beyond just being able to punt the football. So I think, you're right. Stonehouse, though, I think Brett Kern said it himself that he knew this camp was different because this guy had a real rocket of a leg, and he was like, this might be it for me because this kid is that good. And he said, I don't think he had ever felt that way coming into a Titans camp before. I think he knew that his job had always been really secure because he was one of the best punters in the NFL. But this Stonehouse kid has really come in, and he's averaging 50-plus yards a punt, which is just unheard of.
Speaking with Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com here on the McFarland Show. Did you hear the comments from Taylor Lewan on Bussin' with the Boys, his podcast? And if so, what did you make of it?
Are you talking about the comments where he said his leg wasn't exactly right?
Yeah, he was going back to L.A., getting another surgery, and didn't really want to go into pretty cryptic with his words. One day I'll, tell all, and blah blah blah. What did you make of that?
Well, I kind of had a hint that he was going to say something like that because he was in the locker room one day last week, and he didn't want to talk on the record, but he talked to John Glennon and me just kind of informally, and he did tell us, that he was going to have the surgery, on Thursday, which took place yesterday, and he said at the end of that, and like I said, this wasn't for excuse me, this wasn't for use in print or on air, but now that he's let the cat out of the bag, it can be said. He said that the surgery wasn't done correctly the first time. That's kind of what he hinted at.
You're getting choked up over this, aren't you?
No, I think it's allergies.
Surgery wasn't done correctly the first time. So is he going back to the same guy, Terry?
Excuse me.
Sure, I'm sorry, man. Take your time. Terry McCormick here with us.
Take a swig of water.
TitanInsider.com. Been covering the Tennessee Titans for a very long time.
I don't believe he is. I think he's going, but he went to a different doctor this time.
Terry.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Terry,
we've
it's
all
okay.
been there. We've
Terry,
all been there.
Surely, I was there this morning. Terry, it's okay. Take a swig, take a breath, man. As I mentioned, talking to Titan Insider Terry McCormick here on WNSR, the McFarland Show. And, of course, Terry McCormick has joined me on television on Fox 17 many times where we've talked about a number of things with the Titans franchise and trying to make sure that the people were informed. Terry, my question is about Austin Hooper, the tight Cooper, the tight end. Can you talk to me about whether or not you believe he has met the expectations that this organization had when they signed him to the contract that they did?
Well, I think there were high expectations for Hooper when he signed here, and from what we saw early on with him working with Ryan Tannehill in the off-season work and training camp. But for whatever reason, he's kind of tailed off. And I do know that part of it is this. I'm pretty sure that part of it is this right here. For the second time in 3 years, Taylor Lewan's been lost with a knee injury. And you remember 2 years ago when Lewan went down with that knee surgery, Jonnu Smith was on his way to having a monster season. He was everybody's trendy new favorite as a fantasy pick. Well, all of a sudden his numbers went to almost nothing. And that after Lewan went out because he was having to stay in more to block. And I think that that's some of what you're seeing with Austin Hooper. He's having to stay in more to block and protect the quarterback because they don't have as good an offensive line without Taylor Lewan being in there. And then the other part of it is this. I do think that, Hooper's kind of disappearance in the offense might be more of a permanent thing in terms of being a pass catcher, because I think if Sunday's any indication, I think Chig Okonkwo is poised to be their number one receiving option now among the tight ends.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of jumps off the page a little bit once that we've seen him in action, and it made me wonder, well, is he going to be the starter here? Is he going to be TE1 coming out of the gate here? I know when they go with the two tight end sets, he'll be out there, but could he be, the number one tight end in many cases? Or because you don't want to get in a situation, Terry, where it turns into a tell. Well, where if he's in the game, they're throwing the ball versus if Hooper's in the game, they're running the ball because about the utility of the tight ends.
Right, and that was the case last year because when Anthony Ferguson was in the ball game, it was a tip that it was going to be a pass. And if Michael Pruitt and Jeff Swain were in the ball game, it was a tip that most likely it was going to be a run. And I think Hooper does bring some of that to the table in terms of he can catch the football and he can also block. So I think he's kind of got that role in terms of, he is a threat in the pass game if they'll, at times, maybe not as much as we thought, but he's not going to be the pure blocking tight end that Swain is. So I think Hooper will continue to have a role on this team, but I wouldn't go out and rush out and draft him for my fantasy team right now.
Can we talk about Caleb Farley here for just a second? I know that he's been pressed into action, but in all honesty, Terry, I mean, I know people saying he's not ready yet, but what year are we in here with him, and when is he going to be ready? If it's not, I believe we're in year 3 at least, right? I mean, so if he's not ready now, when is he going to be ready?
Well, it's year 2, and
year 2.
one
Excuse me.
was wiped
Okay.
out for the most part by that knee injury, which apparently he listed on the injury report this week with a knee injury. So you hope he hasn't injured the same knee or done anything that is going to keep him out of action on Sunday. But I think part of what's working against Caleb Farley is a couple of things. One is the fact that he opted out during the COVID year, didn't play at Virginia Tech, and he'd had an injury, I think, a couple of years before that.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year had the knee injury. So he's had a back surgery, a knee injury, and opted out in the COVID year. So he hasn't played a lot of football over the last 2 or 3 years. Now, the Titans loved his measurables. They loved the length, the size, the speed, the athleticism. They loved all of that about him. And I think that's why they drafted him. And when they did draft him, most teams said, most of the analysts said, if he can stay healthy, that's a great pick. But I think that for whatever reason, that lack of experience certainly has taken a toll on him. And, he's still trying to figure things out and trying to learn what it's like to be a cornerback at the, NFL level. And, it's been a baptism by fire. And he's also not helped by the fact that Roger McCreary has come in and played pretty well as a rookie, leading people to go, well, if this guy can do it, why can't Farley do it? And, so there's always going to be that comparison until Farley gets his act together.
Well, going back to Taylor Lewan here for a moment, Terry, and last question for me. What are the chances, Terry, that we have seen Taylor Lewan for the last time in a Titans uniform? Or what are the chances, Terry, that we have seen Taylor Lewan for the last time in anybody's uniform playing in the National Football League?
That's a good question, Justin. I mean, I think it's very likely that we've seen the last of Taylor Lewan in a Titans uniform unless he just wants to take a pay cut, and come back and play for $5 million instead of the $14 million that he's due. I think that's very possible that he's going to be a cap casualty. As for whether or not he wants to put himself through the grind of, going through and trying to find another team in another city, I think it would just have to be the right situation. I don't see Taylor Lewan going and toiling for the Detroit Lions just to draw an NFL paycheck because he's been paid handsomely. I think if he were to play somewhere else, I think he would want to go to a situation where he could try to win a Super Bowl ring, or he may be at the point in his life, sort of like Brett Kern was once the Titans released him, where he just said, I think I'm done.
$82 million, Terry. $82 million is what he's made just from the Titans. According to Sports Track, that's what he's been paid over his career.
He could probably live on that for a while and not have to go get a job driving a beer truck.
driving the bus cross country.
Yes.
Last thing for me as well, one more here, is about this weekend's game against Washington. The thing about this game that jumps out to me is not anything about what the Titans are doing. It's about how desperate Washington is. That franchise seems to be in a need of a win really badly, and sometimes teams that need a win really badly, even if they're less talented, can come in and will themselves to a win if they absolutely got to have it. And it seems like Washington is in a situation where they absolutely got to have it.
Yeah, that is true. And, and the Titans have had a bad habit of playing down to teams' levels at times. So that's one of the things that would concern me if I were the Titans going into this game is, Washington is desperate to try and stay in the NFC East race because the Eagles and the Cowboys are both off to a good start, and the Giants, for that matter.
Yeah.
The other part of that, though, is something that Floyd Reese once told me a long time ago. He said, every team will give you you a great effort for the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season because the bad teams don't know that they're bad yet. So they may have reached the point where they know they're bad and they're headed to 4-13 or something.
That is a lot of truth to that. Terry, appreciate the visit. Have a great weekend. Go bet on Aaron Judge's home run ball, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. See you guys. Thanks.
Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com. We'll get you caught up on all the scores. Major League Baseball playoffs are underway. Predators are playing the Sharks in Prague. We'll also get a report on that Washington team at the beginning of the second hour. You're listening to the McFarland Show live on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Are you in trouble with the IRS? Detaxify is the trusted tax relief solution that has an A+ rating with the BBB, 5-star rating from Google, and specializes in the IRS Fresh Start program.
If you have years of unfiled back tax returns or owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, the government has the power to garnish your wages, freeze your bank account, and in some cases, they can now revoke your passport. This is John Zandy, president of Detaxify. Detaxify specializes in the Fresh Start program where we help struggling taxpayers get out of collections or settle their tax debt. If you're being audited or dealing with threatening letters from the government, you may need professional tax relief representation. My team at Detaxify can stop the tax collectors and stop the threatening letters from the IRS or state. Call me now for a free consultation.
Call now, 800-601-7780. That's 800-601-7780. Detaxify offers a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. Call now, 800-601-7780. 800-601-7780.
When was the last time you did something fun with family, friends, coworkers, and clients? What if I told you about a place under one roof that offers affordable entertainment for all ages? That's what you'll find at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers in Donaldson, Hermitage, Tusculum, Hendersonville, and Murfreesboro with bowling, games, food, drink, and entertainment for all ages. Enjoy an enhanced experience in Hendersonville or Murfreesboro where they feature additional fun with bumper cars, laser tag, roller skating, and more. All locations are open 7 days a week, including holidays. Visit online at strikeandspare.com. Strike and Spare, where fun is bowling.
Five-state forecast. Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR Skyscan forecast. Today's going to be mostly sunny, high 76. Mainly clear tonight, cooler, low 44. Sunshine, a cooler day for Saturday, high 68. Sunny Sunday, high 72. Utilizing the resources of the WeatherBug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
Football season is underway. We know that. It's a perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back in your first bet if it doesn't win. Just sign up and use the promo code WNSR. WNSR. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. You can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlays with live betting. You get an updated odds on games that have already started. Get paid your winnings fast. It's all on the app. It's safe, secure, super easy to use. Sign up today. Use that promo code WNSR for your no-sweat first bet. That promo code again, WNSR. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. I'm just going to tell you right now, this is free and coming from me, and I'm just willing to get your weekend and for you to have a good weekend. Okay, here is my free game for you. Take the Arizona Cardinals and the points against the Eagles.
For entertainment purposes only.
Sure. Or you can go to FanDuel and take the Arizona Cardinals and the 5 points against the Eagles. Remember, you must be 21 years of age or older and present here in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued on non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems, call Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789. Back here on the McFarland Show. Speaking of that, Major League Baseball, Guardians take game 1 over the Rays. They win 2-1. So Cleveland takes a 1-0 lead in that series. Shane Bieber picks up the win for Cleveland right now. In the top of the 6th, no score in St. Louis between the Cardinals and the Phillies. Interesting. No score. And out in Prague, Czech Republic, the Predators have struck twice in the second period. Eli Tolvanen, a minute and a half in. Now Nino Niederreiter with his first goal.
There we go.
For the Predators. Dante Fabro and Sherwood. Right now, Sherwood, first goal of the season for the Predators, a 2-point day for him. He's got an assist in the Niederreiter goal and, of course, the first goal of the day. So how about that? Kiefer Sherwood. Keep close eyes on this. What a story so far. Preds lead the Sharks 3-1, under a minute to go in the second period.
Like it, love it, want some more of it.
There you go, Justin.
All right.
Let's go to a Cure hotline. By the way, that number is 615-844-5600. Down to the borough. Jeff, what's up?
Guys, I just wanted to say I think Kentucky's going to win this weekend. Yes, South Carolina, Levis is probably going to play. I don't know what they're going to win by. If they don't turn the ball over, how many pins, I think they'll win in Lexington. But I do want to respond to what Justin said yesterday about Kentucky football. Kentucky knows who they are. They know they're disrespected. They know they're probably hated by everybody in the SEC. Stoops wants them to play with a chip on their shoulder because every year they pick us down low and we finish high every year. We lost to Tennessee last year, still finished 7. Okay, you can talk about 29 out of 31 all you want to. Okay, but the last 5 times we played Florida, Kentucky 3, Florida 2. We won twice in the swamp, and Tennessee ain't done it. So that's as simple as that. And as far as Stoops, the job he's done, he's the second longest tenured coach in the Southeastern Conference. Somebody named Saban or somebody. I've never heard of him. He's pretty good. He's a pretty good coach. He ain't as good as Stoops or Clark Lee, but he's pretty good. He goes somewhere in Michigan State or something at university, at Boom University up there. So like I said, I know he's not any good to you. I know he's done nothing for Kentucky football. He's just all-time when he's coach. He passed somebody, Brian the Hounds, dude, 63-54. So, I know we're never going to get respect from you or Darren because you don't like us. But I'm hoping one day we'll be in Atlanta. And when we do, then I'll be in you. Because you're like Bill King and the rest of them. Don't think we'll ever be in Atlanta. We'll never do anything in football.
Did you just say I don't like them?
No,
Is that what you just said?
You and the rest of you, all these Tennessee media hates us. Everybody.
Did you just say, no, Jeff, did you just include me?
Yes,
Did you just,
I'm including you.
You're a moron then. You've never listened to me in your life if you think that. Get out of here, man. I mean, dude, I grew up in Lexington, Kentucky. Get the heck out of here. You come on in with all that crap. I mean, dude, learn your host before you get on here and talk smack. Jeez, what a waste of a minute and a half of our lives we'll never get back. I grew up in Lexington, Kentucky. I went to Kentucky, you moron.
Just for the record, I've got nothing against University of Kentucky.
I mean, learn your host before you call into a show.
Wildcats.
Maybe listen to the show, okay?
City
How about
of Lexington, the color blue.
I actually have something against Kentucky. So
that's
okay,
fine.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
I didn't say you had to join in, but I mean, you're not going to include
I'm just
me
saying, I just want to,
in your rant. He's on his little rant about. You're not going to include me, man. What are you talking about?
I've been to the state of Kentucky several times. People have been lovely, and been to Hopkinsville.
By the way, I'm the one who threw out the
Bowling
21
Green.
of 31 because it's a fact, Jeff. It's a fact. It's not an opinion. I mean, what a joke.
But we're in the season for that, Darren. When I pointed out,
because everybody hates Kentucky football.
Well, no. It's not even about Kentucky per se.
Because Kentucky football's on the minds of everybody. Yeah.
We'll be doing, highlights or, getting ready for games in the morning over on the TV side. And I'll point out, Vanderbilt has not defeated Alabama since September of 1984. That is true.
And then you'll get somebody, a Vandy fan.
Well, how come you why are you bringing that? What do you mean, why am I bringing that? Vanderbilt hasn't beat Alabama.
That's a fact.
Since September of 1984, man. I'm sorry. What you want me to say? So, it's like people don't want you to bring up the stuff. Up until the Tennessee, because I hammered it home all the time, Tennessee had lost 15 of their last 16 to Florida. They did. What do you want me to do? Oh, well, why are you bringing that? What do you mean? What? You don't think I'm telling you? I'm telling you about a football game. We want you to, get excited, be engaged. We think you're a fan. But you don't want me to tell you, oh, by the way, if Tennessee wins this game, it's highly unusual because they've lost 15 of the last 16 to the team with the gator on their helmet. I mean, why is listen, sorry. I mean, what you want me to do? Listen, and next week, Alabama has beat Tennessee 15 straight. What happened? What happened? Did I say something wrong? What happened?
You're a Vol hater. You're a Vol hater.
Why am I a Vol hater? Because I'm pointing out that Alabama's been smoking cigars for 15 years. This is a fact, okay?
You don't like the Vols. You don't like Tennessee.
No,
you don't like anybody, Justin.
I'm just saying.
You hate Kentucky. You hate Tennessee.
How dare you point out these silly things called facts?
You hate shift changes in hockey. I mean,
apparently
you hate everything.
So. So it's my fault. We don't know when the shift change is going to happen. Just guys just climbing over the board in unison and go skating out in the field, and nobody's
telling Justin. No, nobody's telling him.
No one's told us.
Nope, nobody's telling Justin.
So it's my fault. So I'm a hater.
It's a BS.
Along with Jeff and the Burrow, the 29-31 or whatever the stat is. But I am proud that he didn't bring up basketball because that's normally the trump card for the Kentucky folks. Is they shift somehow the conversation towards
Midnight Madness
towards basketball.
Yeah,
that's what normally happens.
Well, when you have and
with good reason,
their history, you would too. Yeah.
So I'm not mad. I'm just saying he didn't do that. So that's great.
No, it is funny in all seriousness because every time I bring up Rick Barnes and his past, again, it is an opinion, but it is also a fact. His woes. In the tournaments for decades, it's well documented.
Yeah.
And the Vols fans that get mad at that, you're a hater. It's like you're a hater if you say something you don't like.
Just embrace the fact and say we're working to fix it.
Yeah.
We're trying to change it. Yes, we know Alabama's beat us 15 straight years, but we got Josh Heupel or everything's looking much better than it did previously, and we're trying to stop the streak and start one of our own. That's what you say. I don't know why that, why is that so difficult and so, irritating for folks to want to, push back against, but that's kind of where we are.
I'm surprised we weren't called Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan haters after the first segment.
I mean,
I think we just dumped on them, didn't we?
I think they kind of dumped on themselves.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the whole country's dumped on them.
They're not trying to defend themselves. They're just saying, listen, we can't do that, okay? Yeah, we know it's bad, and we're out of here.
Well,
I mean,
didn't Russ do the let's go?
Let's ride.
Oh, boy. Timing. Timing is everything. That's not good timing.
He's trying to keep his spirits high. He's a positive guy.
Is that the time, though, for let's ride?
This is his way of trying to remain positive about the situation. Now, is that what fans want to hear? No. But what do fans want to hear in that situation after that last night? What is it that Russell Wilson could have stood up there and said that would have made everybody feel better about what happened?
I guarantee a touchdown next week. That would have made people feel better.
That would be kind of silly.
I guarantee we score a touchdown.
So you want him to go Joe Namath up there?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
And point. He can point, too.
I don't know if that's
point to the end zone. We're getting there next week. I guarantee it.
That's risky. But
is
okay.
I mean, by the way, if you don't believe, if you think you're going to get shut out 2 weeks in a row from the end zone,
well, it's not that you think you are. It's just that you know that the other guys get paid too, and there's a chance that you may not quite make it next week, for whatever the reason. You could get hurt in the first quarter, and then you don't make it then, and then everybody's what happened to the guarantee? How come he wasn't there?
You asked. That was my answer.
Okay.
You said, what can he do? I just gave you the answer.
That would have made you feel better as a fan.
What?
He guaranteed a touchdown.
I can't speak for Broncos fans because I'm not a Broncos fan. But You asked me what could he have done. I said, guarantee a touchdown next week.
If that's the answer.
Doesn't that make people feel a little bit better? Okay.
I don't know.
Our star quarterback said, we're going to score a touchdown next week. I like this.
I would like to think that would be
good.
I would like to think that would be the minimum of what the quarterback could say.
I didn't say guarantee a win. I just said we'll score a touchdown.
I would hope he would feel good about that. But
I didn't say an offensive touchdown.
Then
Justin.
again,
I just said a touchdown. That could be special teams.
It could be
a defensive touchdown.
Could be from anywhere, huh?
It could be from anywhere.
Okay.
I didn't say I guarantee an offensive touchdown. I just guarantee we'll get in the end zone.
It could be from Carl Mecklenburg. It could be from anybody, from the Orange Crush days.
I don't know if they'll be out there.
You said anybody.
I think Peyton would have played better last night.
Out of the
if
booth.
he had suited up. John Elway may have played better.
Peyton and John were both there. I think Al Michaels suggested that.
Even Al Michaels couldn't sell that game last night. He couldn't sell it. Couldn't do it. All right, that'll do it for hour number 1. We'll come back, find out about this Commanders team. Hour number 2 next.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Emwin. Business hires slowed in September. 263,000 jobs added last month, fewer than what analysts expected. At the same time, the unemployment rate dipped to 3.5%. Today, President Biden, after visiting a Volvo production plant in Hagerstown, Maryland, says despite the dip, the labor market remains strong.
This recovery has been the fastest increase of people re-entering the workforce of any modern economic recovery.
In Texas, the Uvalde School District announced it is suspending operations for its district police force over growing criticism over the police response to the mass shooting in May. The district superintendent also announced today he's retiring. Parents had called for the superintendent to be fired. New York City's mayor has declared an emergency over the surge of migrants being bused from Texas to Manhattan without any notification or coordination. The mayor says it's taxing to the city's shelters. This is ABC News.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hi, I'm Capri, and the little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is the chicken. They actually put it on the grill, cooked it in the sauce. It's definitely a good grilled spicy sandwich.
Hey, I'm Michelle, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is it's spicy and it's full of flavor. When you pair that with the Kale Crunch Salad, it's just good.
Order a grilled spicy deluxe sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Available for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling minigame. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now on the Cure hotline at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty there.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Hour number 2 on this Friday afternoon. Boy, time's flying already. 1 hour in the books. Another one to go. Afternoon stretch coming up at 4 o'clock. We talked about the Titans end of things. They're banged up. Mike Vrabel already ruling out some key guys for Sunday's contest in Washington against the Commanders. Let's find out more about their opponent. Ben Standick is on the Cure hotline. He covers, I'm trying to do this without saying FTs, and even the one before that. It's still hard to say Commanders. He covers the Commanders for The Athletic, and he now joins us. Ben, how you doing?
I am good. I totally understand why anybody else who doesn't cover this team would still have trouble with this name. 3 names in a couple of years is not normal for anybody.
Yeah, no. I think I had moved on past the first one, but I kind of got used to the FTs. Like, it was just simple. It was easy. And it was kind of fun. But the Commanders just doesn't roll off your tongue, like last year's FTs.
100%. It's not an easy one. I wasn't necessarily in favor of the football team, but in terms of the options football team or Commanders, the oddity of the football team beats the sort of generic Commanders. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So the entire country's been dumping on Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan today, including our show. So let's just start at the quarterback position. Certainly, Carson Wentz has been dumped on over the years. He's been dumped on in Philadelphia. Indy certainly dumped on him last year. It got off to a great start the first 2 weeks. His numbers were good. Things look like, maybe, okay, is this the old Carson Wentz? Has he turned the page? Has he found a new home? And then the last couple of weeks, it looks like he's reverted back to the Carson Wentz we've been accustomed to over the years. What is the vibe? What is the vibe of the fan base? You, as a guy who's covering this Washington team, what do you think? How do people feel about Carson Wentz under center and as their starting quarterback?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, obviously people pay attention to what's gone on the last couple of years before he came here, and obviously a lot of tough things were said about him when he was leaving Philadelphia, and then Jim Irsay, throws him out the door in Indianapolis, and so there were a lot of questions. And look, this fan base is incredibly bummed out and disappointed over the years. And then in terms of quarterback specifically, it's been waiting. They've been waiting for a long time in Washington. Ron Rivera talked about getting a quarterback upgrade. Carson Wentz is one from just a ceiling perspective, but he isn't. He comes with a lot more baggage than what people are hoping for. There have been some good things. He can make some absolutely exquisite throws. Two touchdown throws he had in the fourth quarter, season opener against to beat Jacksonville were fantastic. But you're right. I mean, the last couple of weeks, the offensive line has really struggled in pass protection, but Carson Wentz's own sort of jittery nature in the pocket when things start to collapse around him is only making that worse. And, the inaccuracy things are still there as well. So we're seeing the concerns that had been brought up previously more and more as time's gone on. But they still, are hopeful that they can turn this around. A bunch of changes on the offensive line and injuries and all that kind of stuff. But, they're hoping that they can figure out a way to get this back on track.
There was a lot of promise and a lot of talk about, the excitement of what this young man could bring to the table in Brian Robinson Jr. And maybe end up being the guy at tailback for Washington. And then he had this crazy incident in the offseason, and it derailed the start of the season for him. It looks like his road to recovery is going quite well. Like, how close do you think he really is into getting back on the field or getting on the field for the first time for this Washington team this season? Is he close?
Yeah, I think he's pretty close. At this point, if you made me pick, I would say he is activated for Sunday. I think the questions are.
You think he'll be in? He'll be out there on Sunday.
Well, I mean, the variable for Washington is the following week they have a short week. They play the Thursday game, and they're going to have to probably make a call. I would think is do they think that having not played now for several weeks, on top of the fact that he's recovered from gunshot wounds. How does he, how does his body hold up? Is he in game shape? That type of stuff. to have to play 2 games in like 5 days. And if they decide that maybe that's a bit much, then maybe they hold him out and have him go for the Bears game on that following Thursday, and then you'd have more time after that for the following week. I imagine that's the calculation. But on the other hand, they need to win this week. They need to turn this around. They need to get things looking a little bit normal. And what we saw in training camp and preseason was a guy who is a much more traditional between the tackles running back that this offense lacked last year, has kind of lacked this year. It's not like they can't run the ball, but he's a more consistent presence, and I think that's something this team needs. They've really struggled sustaining drives. They've only scored 7 points in the first half over the last 3 games, and nobody's respecting the play action. So I think there's a lot of hope that Robinson can fix some of these issues, but whether they want to throw him out there immediately this week and give him any work or a lot of work, I think that's what they're trying to wrestle with.
We're speaking with Ben Standig, covers the Commanders in Washington for The Athletic. I said at the beginning when we brought you on, Mike Vrabel today eliminating Zach Cunningham. He will not be available on Sunday. Bud Dupree is another one, not going to be in the lineup. Amani Hooker, not in the lineup. Traylon Burks, out of the lineup. These are all pretty key guys for the Titans, and a lot of guys missing on defense. We just talked about Brian Robinson Jr. That's pretty interesting that maybe he's a guy that could get out there on Sunday, but Washington's got their own set of injuries. How bad is it? Who are some key guys that we need to know that either have been already ruled out, Ben, or you think are on the way of getting ruled out?
Yeah, so they had some key injuries off of last week's game. Jahan Dotson, their first-round pick, who is currently tied for the league lead with 4 touchdown receptions. He's out with a hamstring injury. Right tackle Sam Cosmi out. He had thumb surgery this week. Excuse me. So they're going to have the entire right side of the offensive line will be 2 new starters from where they were a week ago. On top of that, their center is Nick Martin. He did start last week, but last week he became their 3rd starting center in 4 games. So there's been a lot of turnover on the offensive line, and that group has really labored already. Curtis Samuel is expected to play after missing a couple days this week with an illness, but he's expected to be out there. I think the defense, by and large, seems to be fine, but I think those pieces on offense are the issue. They have other receivers behind Dotson, but he's definitely been the one that's had the most chemistry with Wentz. So that's something that I think is going to be a loss for them for sure.
Question about Ron Rivera, if we can, and I'm looking over, the numbers here for Ron Rivera here. This is year 3 in Washington. The overall record is 15-22 as the head coach of the Washington football franchise, shall we call them. I've heard F-bombs from Coach Rivera earlier this week. I'm starting to sense perhaps a little tension there in the nation's capital, and I don't mean on Capitol Hill. Am I right about this? I mean, how much is he feeling the pressure to get W's there at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the first time where there's starting to be like some pushback from the fan base beyond just the usual, win some games type stuff. The first year here, for Rivera was the year of when COVID started. He also was diagnosed with cancer that year, and they actually rallied to win a terrible division that year. So got not a little bit of a pass there. Last year, coming off of that year, sort of the same thing. They weren't nearly as good, especially on defense, but they also lost their starting quarterback in the first game. So I think people gave them a bit of a pass. I think this year it's a bit different because they make the big move to get Carson Wentz, and when's something going to happen? Rivera said that he's pointed out many times that his 3rd year in Carolina is when things turn around from there, and therefore he's looking for some sort of a jump this year. It is still early. His teams typically get better as the season goes along, but they just look so bad for most of these past 3 games, all losses, that I think is now everybody's starting to get more restless. And I think you mentioned him cursing the other day on it was on a Monday Zoom call with reporters after they had lost to Dallas. And I think one of the criticisms from people has been, how come he doesn't seem like he's getting upset? How come, he seems like he's just constantly telling everybody to have patience? So I think that was his way of saying, look, I feel your pain. I'm in this, and so on. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think he's on the hot seat per se, but, tell me what happens if they're 1-5 or something, right? 1-6, that is a different story.
Well, I mean, listen. First, Ron Rivera was a member of one of the best defenses that ever walked on a football field in the 1985 Chicago Bears. This man played with passion personified. He has passion for the football game. So anybody who wonders, why he's being stoic, listen, you just haven't seen him then. His pedigree screams somebody who has deep passion for the game. However, I would think that you're looking at the NFC East right now. You're talking about 4-0, 3-1, 3-1, and 1-3. The team that's 1-3 in that scenario has to be feeling an immense amount of pressure to start winning football games and winning soon.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think part of the issue is a lot of us in the media and some of the fans pointed out some concerns off the bat. There was already the Carson Wentz question marks, and did they do enough to help him out? If you know that Carson Wentz is sort of doesn't have the best pocket presence, is this the right time to go cheaper on the offensive line? And that's something they did this offseason. There are depth questions all over the defense, and these issues have come up already. They're still waiting for Chase Young to come back from his injury, but there's been some questions like in the secondary. But even if they wanted to make some changes, they don't really have anywhere to turn. And the point is that, these are some of the issues that we're like, hey, why are you guys addressing these problems? And then now they're starting to come back to bite them. And I think that's why I think that's adding to the situation. And look, I mean, to be clear, it's unique here, right? Because it isn't just about what's happening on the football field; it's what's happening off the football field.
Yeah.
And that is a constant, situation here. Dark clouds are always over this franchise, and that only makes losing on the football field worse. And again, not just losing, but just not looking terribly competitive the last couple, 2 to 3 weeks. Only making people more agitated.
Yeah, it's going on in the background. Can I ask about Derrick Henry from the outsider's point of view? We live and breathe it every day. Number 22 is in front of us in some way, shape, or form all the time. From somebody who is not living and breathing Derrick Henry, I heard Coach Rivera talking about the process of trying to make sure that they stay in the right slot so they can tackle them, make sure that you stay disciplined. Make sure that you don't reach out with an arm. What is your view of the Titans and Derrick Henry coming off the injury from the outside looking in?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a scary proposition for sure. I was talking to one of the defenders today in the locker room, and I was just like, look, obviously this is your job, and you're used to hitting guys, and you have to be somewhat fearless to play football. But that said, is there a little bit extra knowing that this guy is coming and he's as big and as he is and as fast and all that? And he's like, hey, I'll be ready to hit him when he comes in the hole. But at the same point, you got to be aware that this guy is, you can't just be one player trying to take him down. Their run defense has been pretty good the last couple of weeks. It was miserable the first 2 weeks, but they did a good job against Philadelphia and Dallas. Of course, Philadelphia and Dallas also took advantage of them in the passing game. And I guess that's going to be the question. Washington has good defensive linemen. Jonathan Allen was a Pro Bowler last year at defensive tackle. Deron Payne, his tag team partner inside, has been good this year. Montez Sweat doesn't have any sacks, but he's been getting a lot of pressure. If those guys can, and the linebackers can, at least keep Henry in check, does Tennessee have the goods to beat them down the field the way Philadelphia and Dallas did? I think that's going to be a huge question for this game. And to a degree, if Washington can be good enough against Henry, can Tennessee beat them otherwise? But obviously, it's going to be a huge deal to see if Washington can slow Henry down just because they did some things the last couple of weeks.
All right, last thing as we wrap this up, Ben. Full disclosure, fantasy football question. Cole Kmet, I cut this week because he sucks. He catches one catch for 15 yards every week, so I was looking for an upgrade at tight end. Logan Thomas is always hurt, but I'm like, gosh, he's got a clean bill of health. I've been monitoring all week. I pick him up. I can't make any more pickups. And then all of a sudden I look today, and he's got a calf injury, and he's listed as questionable. And he's game time decision. What say you? Is Logan Thomas going to be out there on Sunday?
Yeah, I was surprised when we looked out there. We didn't see him on the field. He's coming off of he had a knee surgery last season, and he eventually got back to training camp. But he's not looked, nobody's 100%, but he's definitely still looked rusty and has not been a huge factor so far. So the fact that he, of all people, has this calf injury, I kind of think that he may not play this week.
Oh, boy.
So if you can't make moves, I don't know what to tell you. But I'd be a little bit nervous. I mean, typically, a Friday injury, not practicing on Friday is often a indicator to not play. And in his case, especially again when they've got a short week, I could imagine Washington saying, "Well, let's do something else." So yeah, I'd be a little bit nervous. I think if I ever.
Oh boy, I deserve it. That's what I get for picking him up. He's always hurt. He's a really good, but he's always freaking hurt. Ben, thank you so much for the visit. I don't know if it'll be a good game or not. Both teams obviously need a win. Somebody's going to come away with a win, we think, although there are a lot of ties in the league. Thanks for doing this. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you down the road.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Ben Standig covers the Commanders in Washington for The Athletic. That's what I freaking get for picking up Logan Thomas.
Listen, well, you had to get somebody.
And by the way, you're a Bears guy. Could you have at least given me a heads up not to draft
Cole Kmet?
Cole Kmet.
Well, that was your fault.
And
You didn't consult me about that.
Justin Fields throws for 40 yards a week, and he can't, throw to your tight end, man.
If you think you're disappointed, you should talk to the guys in Chicago, okay? You should talk to my father and his friends, okay, about Cole Kmet. If you think,
what the heck? I thought I got a steal with that pick.
So did they.
And he is a bust. He stinks.
He's heading in that direction. It's not been good. It's been disappointing for.
He has like 4 catches on the year.
Well,
maybe 5.
I mean,
I know these are fantasy football questions. You don't care. This is why you're not playing.
You
don't have this angst.
This is true. So I can enjoy the game in its purest form without worrying about if the backup running back for Jacksonville scores a touchdown this week.
Clean bill of health all week, and then today, hey, calf, doubtful. What?
Yeah.
What?
That's
calf,
life.
Did he running to dinner last night? He messed up his calf. How did that happen?
Stretching. Just stretching.
Didn't practice, like Ben said. Don't practice today.
Listen,
that's a bad sign.
Listen, these guys go through a bunch, and I imagine at some point, as you continue to age, you ever just wake up hurt? You woke up hurt.
Yes.
You didn't do anything that you know of. You were fine last night.
Yeah.
You just woke up hurt.
Feeling like you got beat up in the middle of the night.
Just what happened.
Yep.
And so, if you're a professional football player, I'd imagine you wake up hurt quite a bit. Where everything is fine, then everything got a little cold overnight. You woke up hurt.
IEC Logan Thomas. We'll come back. By the way, the Cure Hotline is open the rest of the way. We'll take your phone calls if you want to talk with us. There's a lot of things to get into. It is an active sports day. That number 615-844-5600. You are listening to the McFarland Show live on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
How to win? How about a win? How about a win with top prizes? How about a bid for, win, and a play for quick bucks? How about a win? About a win with a win and a bid for $1, $2, $5, $10 quick games, the best cash games around. How about a win? About a win with a win and sold at your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer.
Try the new instant games from the Tennessee Lottery. They're loaded with top prizes from $50 up to $5,000. Get them before they're gone. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
4, 3, 2.
One lucky Powerball player will ring in the new year with $1 million win. Powerball's New Year's Rockin' Eve VIP experience is back with a chance for you and a guest to score the trip of a lifetime to New York City for New Year's Eve. Win exclusive access to epic events and a chance to be the first Powerball millionaire of 2023. Announced live on Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. Enter your Powerball tickets at tnviprewards.com by October 30th. The Tennessee Lottery. Please play responsibly.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. Package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. It's starleasing.com to learn more.
This is the Greg Pogue and John Burton Show.
Welcome, Angie McCartney.
When he'd come home, Jim would say to him, "How are your bowels, son? Are you eating stuff?" And he'd go, Dad, you know, I'm a beetle. You don't ask me about my bowels. Oh, it's not that funny. Come on.
We didn't expect to be talking about Paul's bowels this morning.
Greg Pogue and News Channel 5's John Burton, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
I already gave you a free tip. It's courtesy of the McFarland Show. Well, half of the McFarland Show.
Yeah, courtesy of Darren. Don't stick me with that.
Fine.
If that doesn't work out, I don't want to hear about that. That's not me.
You.
I nothing to do with that.
Take the Arizona Cardinal. Or is it Cardinals? Yeah, they're the Cardinals.
It's the Cardinals. It's plural.
Yeah,
There's more than one.
Stanford's the only Cardinal?
Yes, that is correct.
Take the Arizona Cardinals plus the 5 against the Eagles. I'm just giving you that.
Where is that game? Is it in Philly, in Arizona?
In Arizona. How about
Arizona?
that?
The cross-country trip there?
Yeah. And the Eagles are favored by 5.
Okay. I mean, you know, two talented quarterbacks. You want to watch a couple of guys run around, throw the ball there. That could be a interesting game there. Those two.
Yep.
With Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts there. That could be interesting. Could be very interesting, to be certain. So this weekend, obviously, we've got some big time football games coming up here for not only the Tennessee Volunteers and Vanderbilt, but for the Titans as well. We were having a bit of a discussion during the break about how big of a game is this for the Titans. See, I do not believe this is all that big of a game for the Titans. I think the Titans go lose. If they were to lose this game and go 2-3, I don't think this is the end of the world at all. And I know Indy just won, and they're 2-1. But I just don't. I think there's too much. If they were 1-3, now you can't go 1-4. I understand that. The 2-3 to a this is a non-conference loss. It doesn't hurt you at the end of the year with the playoff standings and things like that.
You gotta beat a bad football team.
No, you're supposed to win this game if you're the Titans. But if you don't win this game, I don't know if that's the end of the planet. Unlike for the Washington Commanders, by the way, and we mentioned it. The other team, they're 1-3. The other teams in their division are 4-0, 3-1, 3-1.
But they're not. Nobody's looking at them as a playoff team.
No, well, no one outside the building. But like you said, maybe they don't know that they're not good yet. And if they have any pride at all, they want to show up, and this is a home game for them. They looked really bad against Dallas. I think we're going to get a really good effort from the Washington Commanders this week, and I just wonder if the Titans can stand up to it, to a desperate team that needs a win. If they were 2-2, I would think differently, because now the pressure's off them. But they going 1-4. If the Eagles mess around and win, they're 5-0. The division is done. You can't be 1-5 and the leader is 5-0. You're done. The division's over.
Yep. Well, for Washington it is.
For Washington it is. So
Titans, not so much. But still, Colts won last night.
That's nice.
Keep the pressure. The Jags have Houston down in Jacksonville. They're going to win that game.
You would think.
Let me just tell you right now, Jags going to win that game. Money line, hello.
Okay.
Guaranteed money.
Guaranteed money on the
on
Jacksonville beating
money
Houston.
line. Yeah.
So, because here's the other
Say
deal.
that out loud without laughing.
Here's the Houston
Guaranteed a Jacksonville win.
Guaranteed.
I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Yeah. Houston's not going to lose all the football games this year. They're going to mess around and win something. So,
one of them maybe against Tennessee, which they did last year.
It might be, but, they can't keep, these guys are not going to keep losing football games forever. It's a league that will surprise you when you least expect it, especially when you have these winless teams. And my father says, pressure breaks pipes, okay? Eventually, the pressure builds up on these teams, and they get a W out of nowhere. The Jets over the Titans last year. What the world was that? What the Titans had no business losing that football game if you look at it on paper, and lo and behold, they caught the L anyway and still ended up with the number 1 seed. Yep. It's this is crucial, but more crucial than anything else was getting those 2 wins they got so they can get back to 500 here, so they can continue to fight through the season, because you don't want to just fall out the race entirely. No. You can't do that.
Let's go to the Cure Hotline. Let's go out to Franklin. Terry is up next. Terry, welcome in.
Welcome to Thursday Night Football, sponsored by Soccer.
Yeah.
Low scoring, low scoring, boring, lots of kicks, and for goodness sake, don't touch the ball with your hands.
Hey, don't insult soccer with comparing their sport to that.
That's exactly right. That gives soccer a bad name.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, soccer.
Yeah. Should apologize to soccer. They shouldn't be compared to anything.
Yeah, that game was so bad we may never forget that, Darren.
I said I was going to wake up this morning and cancel Amazon Prime just because of that game last night. I didn't do it, but it was I guess it was a hollow threat.
But hey, Thursday night has been known for crappy games. Whether the Jacksonville Jaguars are playing, it's just crap one week after another. Most of the time.
Well, that'll change, Terry, next Thursday. Washington at Chicago.
There you go.
Oh boy.
There you go.
I've been waiting for that. I've got a lot of fantasy players from those teams.
There you go. Terry, quick question for you, just as a football fan in general.
Wentz versus Fields. Wow.
Yeah.
Powerhouse. Terry, would it be okay with you if we went back like we were a few years ago and we just didn't have the NFL on Thursdays? Would that be okay with you as a fan? Would you miss the Thursday? Forget last night. I know last night is forgettable. Would you be okay if we just didn't have Thursday night football in the NFL?
Well, if I'm answering based on last night, let's get rid of it. But overall, I like Thursday night football. I really do.
That was an honest answer.
No, and that's why I asked the man. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're okay with
most of the time. I mean, let me put it this way. I always look forward to it, and then you get last night.
Yeah.
That slaps you in the face.
Yeah. I think we were all questioning, what did we do? What did we do wrong this week to deserve this? Why are we being punished for this? Do we need to go to church more? What should we? Yeah. What did we need? What did we do to deserve this?
Listen,
and why did we? I waited and watched until the end, and I'm like, what am I doing? Staying here till the end.
Listen, we got the Tua situation last Thursday. Then this Thursday we get this. So I mean, the question needs to be asked. Maybe maybe we're doing this on the wrong day.
Last week's game was at least fun to watch.
Other than the Tua injury, I suppose.
He stayed in there and he played well.
There's only one way to make that game worse last night. What if there was no kicking? How bad would it have been? Would they have ever scored at all without kicking?
Don't forget, McManus had one of the kicks blocked.
Jeez.
I mean, they couldn't even get that right. It wasn't perfect kicking wise. It was bad.
I'm sure that Redskin Bear game is going to be an improvement. It's got to be.
Oh, there's no doubt. The passing in that game is going to be 1929. That's what it's going to feel like.
And listen, is it in Chicago?
It's in Chicago.
Don't let it be a weather game, because you never know what comes blowing in off Lake Michigan out there. And, it could be a driving rainstorm. Wouldn't that be something? A driving rainstorm next week in Chicago. where they can't throw the football around the yard like they might want to, like the whole world is watching for.
Might want to. What is Justin Fields' attempt, about 12 passes a game?
Listen, he's playing within the constraints of the offense.
Oh, okay. Anything else, Terry?
That's it, fellas. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
Thank you, Terry.
Yeah, gosh, it's look, he gave the right answer. The answer is it's not a bad thing to have it. We were just punished by you can't predict all the games to be great. And we act like this is the only Thursday night clunker. Do you remember when the Titans and the Jags had about 3 combined wins when they would play and get together on Thursday Night Football?
Yeah.
And the Jags would don that ugly uniform?
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, my gosh. Not only is 2 bad football teams, then we got to look at these uniforms?
Yeah. I mean, but this is the time for these teams to get out here and do that kind of thing. It's time for the color rush, uniforms, and
the color rush
and all of that. I mean, that's what the Thursday night deal is for. It's supposed to be an opportunity for every single team to play in prime time. So that's why everybody's guaranteed a prime time game now because of these Thursday night games. So between Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night, everybody gets
and now
a prime
we're getting
time.
Don't forget Sunday mornings now. Because
Oh,
now
yeah,
we're
going
getting
to London.
London.
Going to London.
No, they're staying in London.
Yeah.
They're just going to, it's going to be London.
Yeah.
It feels like London every week now.
It does feel that way. It does feel that way, at least. And they're not just putting the smaller market teams in London anymore either. Now we're putting the big boys in London.
I think this is the first time, right? The Packers have been there.
Yeah, we're doing the big guys now out there in London. And, that's like Pete was talking about, Pete Weber with the Predators. The global reach of these sports organizations now to try and spread their brand around the world here. Even though Pete mentioned Australia, I'm a little shocked the NFL hasn't tried that. I know they've been to Mexico and up there over in London, but I'm very surprised we haven't seen places like Australia pop up.
Well, it's crazy. The reverse effect is here, right? They're trying to branch out and become worldly. It's so big here. Soccer is big everywhere in the world, and they're trying to capture here.
Yeah, they're trying to capture the American.
Like the world is captured to soccer.
Sure.
But they're trying to capture here where football is, what it is, and they're now trying to get the world. Hockey's doing it, NBA's doing it, baseball's doing it. Mm-hmm. They're all trying to branch out past North America.
Yeah, to bring more influence there.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about college football.
Well, hold on. Let's get another call in.
We got a call?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed it.
Let's go back to the Cure hotline and let's
Tony.
go out to Nolensville, where I was at after the show. Tony's up next. Welcome in.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Justin, I'm with you on that fantasy football. I did it the first 2 or 3 years. It broke loose and come out, and I caught myself wondering why is this, I've got this guy on my team, and he's not getting the ball enough, and why are we not throwing, more passes to this guy when he seems to be beating the secondary in each and every game? And I got caught up into watching different stuff going on instead of just being able to sit and enjoy a football game anywhere. I said, after 3 years of it, I said, this isn't me no more.
But see, Tony, you find yourself cheering against your own team that you like just because the other guy is on your fantasy team and you're hoping he's going to catch the touchdown against your team, against the team that you cheer for.
It's one of those deals where when Peyton Manning would come to town, everybody would want Peyton to really play well, but you want the Titans to win. But then a lot of people want Peyton to play well to beat the Titans. You can't have it both ways.
Well, I don't think that was because of fantasy. I just think people liked Peyton more than the Titans then. And probably
Darren, I've got a
I don't know if they still do, but they did then.
I've got a question, 2-part question. Ask them both of you. I'm going to hang it up and let y'all discuss it. Pretty good question.
All right.
What do you think has been the most surprising story in the SEC, whether it be a positive or negative story or team in the SEC to this point, and what's the most surprising positive or negative story in the NFL to this point? I want y'all to discuss that and see what y'all's take on it. Guys, have a great weekend.
All right, you
Thank
too, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
You and Justin are just fantasy football haters. You're
We're
just
not
haters.
haters.
You guys are just haters.
Stop.
Because you said something I didn't like, so you're haters. You guys are fantasy football haters.
Yeah, welcome to America. All right. This is kind of where we are right now. I can answer. Do you want to wait to the break?
Let's
go to the break.
Yeah, let's come back.
I
and
felt
answer.
that coming from you. I was
Yeah.
like, he's going to want to wait to the break.
Let's come back and answer that. Two really good questions by Tony in Nolensville. We'll come back and answer. Oh, by the way, our Cure hotline will be wide open the rest of our show, 615-844-5600. More of the McFarland Show next here on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Hey guys, it's Zach. Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers can get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with the promo code TAS. You can always do one of my favorites, the same game parlays. Makes a lot of money real quick. Or take a look at the live betting options. You'll get live updates on games that have already started. That's something I really enjoy. I think it's done best with FanDuel, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So sign up today with promo code TAS for your no-sweat first bet. That promo code again is TAS. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and up and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued with non-withdrawable free bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Hey, it's Patton Cook from Run With It. Let me tell you about my friends over at Smiles by Design. Dr. Dwayne Jones and his team focus on providing you with personalized, gentle care that you deserve. Smiles by Design are one of the few practices that offer state-of-the-art, needle-free cavity fillings. I started going to Dr. Jones 2 years ago, and he has completely changed my smile. They are located at 105 Threet Industrial Boulevard, Unit 1001 in Smyrna. You can visit their website at drdwaynejones.com for more information, or you can call them at 615-355-1033. Again, their number is 615-355-1033, or you can search for them on social media at Smiles by Design. So be sure the next time you're looking for dentistry services, give my friends over at Smiles by Design a try. And don't forget to tell them Patton sent you.
Slim's Tender Mac Bowls are back. We start with a 3-cheese blend to make our delicious mac and top it with chopped hand-breaded tenders and Colby Jack cheese. Try the Tender Mac Bowl meal or the Buffalo Tender Mac Bowl meal, both served with Texas toast and a medium drink. But hurry, they're only around for a limited time. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
Hey, it's Sammy Kincaid, host of Power Hour with Sammy Kincaid. Every Saturday morning from 9 to 10, listen in as I highlight women in sports from high school to the pros, athletes and administrators. And you know what? Let's talk some ball with women covering the game across the country. Power Hour with Sammy Kincaid is every Saturday morning. Listen in on Nashville Sports Radio from 9 to 10 a.m.
Back here on the McFarland Show, Darren McFarland, Justin McFarland here with you every day, weekdays, 2 to 4 p.m. One game in Major League Baseball in the playoffs is in the books. Guardians take game 1 in Cleveland. They beat the Tampa Rays 2-1. Shane Bieber gets the win over Shane McClanahan. So Guardians take game 1 there. And the Cardinals have finally struck with some runs in St. Louis. They lead the Phillies 2-0 right now in the bottom of the 8th. The Mariners picked up 3 in the first. They're in Toronto. And Seattle leads the Blue Jays 3-0 as they head to the bottom of the 2nd. Right now, over in Prague, Czech Republic, Predators leading 3-1 over the Sharks. They have goals from Kiefer Sherwood, who was the first goal of the season, assist from Ekholm and Ryan McDonough. Ellie Tolvanen gets the second goal. Cole Smith and Cody Glass pick up the assist on his goal, and then Nino Niederreiter, one of the newest additions Dante Fabro and Sherwood pick up the assist on his goal. So 3-1 Preds right now with just under 4 minutes to go in the first game of their regular season. Okay, so Tony in Nolensville.
Yeah.
By the way, our number, 615-844-5600. That's our Cure hotline. Asked us, you want to start in the SEC or the NFL? All right, surprising story, good or bad, in the SEC is?
Oh, it's easy. It's Texas A&M.
Okay, for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, for the wrong. It's easy. It's Texas A&M, and because of the big deal that we made of what Jimbo Fisher could potentially be bringing to the table here for the Aggies, and the chance for them to really look like they were going to challenge for the West, and for them to have dropped a couple of games here really early, for them not to even be ranked right now at 3-2. Is, to me, the most surprising thing in the SEC right now. When I look at everything else going on, it is more surprising than anything else that I can think of is Texas A&M being an afterthought already here in early October.
Yeah, this was supposed to be the big game, right? We were supposed to refer to the Jimbo and Little Nicky feud at SEC Media Days about recruiting. And that story, they got blown up in the offseason, and this was supposed to be what was surrounding this
can
game.
You imagine how the game's going to be in October,
right?
And meet face to face. Oh my God, what's going to happen?
These clips all
They're not
week.
talking. They're not talking at all. They said they're done with each other. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and nobody's talking about it because everybody knows it's an irrelevant game because A&M is going to get smashed.
Yeah, now A&M looks like a speed bump in the SEC West, and I don't know if anybody saw that coming. And so, to me, that is the absolute surprise.
Okay, I struggle with this one because there's a lot of places you can go. I think I'm going to go east.
Okay.
And go to Knoxville. And I'm still holding reservations because it hasn't been Murder's Row. But Pitt was a good win on the road.
Sure.
And beating Florida again because of the history
they needed
and the
to
dominance by the Gators. And I get it. It was
that.
in Knoxville.
Yeah.
But they needed to get that monkey off their back.
Very much so.
Right?
And almost
they
didn't. And
they almost
didn't.
gagged it away. But they did it.
Woo. Okay.
I think the surprise is if they win this game, it's pretty clear to me they're going to exceed expectations this season. Everybody expected them to they would take a step forward.
Yeah.
I think a step forward in most people's minds, 8-4. Like, that's a really good season. 8-4. Good season. I think they've got a chance. You beat LSU, you can almost guarantee they're going to be better than 8-4. So they will exceed.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you really?
I can. Yeah.
I'm
doing it right now.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I'm doing
it. But I'm just saying that as we both have been see, that surprises me that you would say that, given how long you've been watching University of Tennessee football. To know that the game against South Carolina here in late November is not given at all. Those are the kind of things and the kind of games and situations where they come out and all of a sudden they don't look as sharp. Somebody gets hurt. There's a suspension. There's somebody, whatever. It's just so much season left with them. Even if they win this game, and here's the other thing. They win this game, then they go to Alabama. We all think we know what's going to happen against Alabama. So the question is, what do they look like after that? Are they the same team after Alabama that they are now? Because remember the Jeremy Pruitt year. Everything was going fine till halftime at Georgia. Then whatever planet alignment happened at halftime at Georgia, that football team came out the tunnel and it was not the same deal. So I think there's a lot of time left here for the Vols to create what they want. I'll give you that. But they're going to be challenged in a big way. And I think, the famous line by Mike Tyson, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And I don't know if Tennessee's been punched in the face for real. I think they've been grazed. I think they've been, shaken a little bit. But they're going to get hit. And then what happens on the other side of that is my big question for them. And there's a lot of football left. So them winning LSU doesn't guarantee me going 9-2 or 10-2 or whatever it would end up being. Missouri, South Carolina, Kentucky, they are not going to be cupcake games for the Volunteers, I don't think, or guaranteed, write it in wins.
I'm just telling you, if they win this game, the hype meter will go. It'll go
the hype
way
meter,
up.
The hype meter is,
It'll go way up. Look, my answer would have been Kentucky if they would have been able to finish the business down in Oxford, because they would be 5-0.
Yeah,
and they would be like the 5th or 6th, ranked team in the country.
Yeah,
but they didn't.
I mean,
they didn't finish, and they lost.
If the Vols beat LSU this weekend, there'll be a good percentage of the fan base when we talk to the folks over in Knoxville again, who will think they can beat Alabama because they beat LSU.
That's my point.
I mean, but that don't make it right.
No, it doesn't make it true. But it'll be a reality.
Yeah. Well, people will think that.
Well, they were thinking it when they saw Georgia against Missouri. They're like, Georgia's not that bad.
Georgia's not
They're
that
not
bad.
good. They're not that good. They're beatable. They're very beatable.
There we go.
That's a very winnable game now. They're not very good. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. All right. Surprise story, good or bad in the NFL?
Boy. All right, so and that's a tough one. I don't know how the Philadelphia Eagles aren't the good surprise at 4-0. I didn't have the Eagles at 4-0. We are not that far removed from people wondering if the quarterback of the Eagles was the guy or not, and whether or not he was going to be the long-term answer there in Philadelphia. And now it looks, at 4-0 from here, it looks like they're, in very much control. It looks like they are a playoff favorite, a division, favorite possibly. I think they are the very much surprise out the gate. If you asked, who's going to be the only undefeated team in the NFL in October, the chances that you would say the Philadelphia Eagles is almost, zero.
All right, I'm going to give you a list. Quick hitters. I'm just going off the top of my head. I don't have anything written down. Matt Ryan is way worse than I thought he was going to be for Indianapolis. The Colts are worse than I thought they were going to be. Jacksonville is a lot better so far than I thought they were going to be.
They are.
Jacksonville may just keep getting better.
They might.
Okay? Let's see. What else? Where else can I go? The 2-2 teams, like half the league being 2-2 is pretty crazy.
Baltimore 2-2, and
the Steelers. I think Mike Tomlin's record is in big trouble.
1-3.
That stat is in big trouble.
It seems to be,
because I know, and look, it should be celebrated because it's amazing.
It is
that you've never been under 500.
It is,
but I think it's in jeopardy this year. I think it's in real. So there's the surprise in a bad way. I think Mike Tomlin's never being below 500 record is in serious jeopardy.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Rams don't look like they're going to get back to where they just were last season, and
the Super Bowl hangover is a real thing.
It's a real thing, and it looks like it's going to affect them.
It's a tangible thing that's been around for a while. So I don't know if it's all that surprising, really, for the Rams to be where they are right now. But it's a known thing that has happened to several teams, and they win the Super Bowl and they take a step back. People leave, core players leave. The Rams were dealing with Robert Woods and their injury last year, but they had Odell Beckham Jr. last year as well. Now they don't have either one. Not only have Robert Woods or Odell Beckham Jr. So who do they have catching the football out there?
He gets about 30 targets a game.
Hey, that's great, but he doesn't have a number 2 now.
They're also going to get him killed. Yeah, well, they do have Allen Robinson, but they don't do anything.
And they don't have a number 2 now.
Yeah.
So
they paid him to be a 2. That's for sure.
Well, people pay people to do a lot of things that don't necessarily come to fruition there. So I think that the Rams and their Super Bowl hangover, it can't be all that shocking here. It would surprise me, and it hasn't happened yet. But we could see a firing here before long.
It's coming soon.
There was a lot of speculation that Frank Wright may not have made it through the night or made it back from the flight from Denver. They had lost that game last night.
It's silly. That's silly.
Can I ask you guys a question?
That's just silly, though.
I want to throw something in the equation about when this discussion is a great one. where would you throw the AFC West in this discussion? Because he came with a lot of hype in the offseason.
Well, I want to talk about Russ Wilson last night, too. That's a surprise. There's no way you could have told me Russell Wilson would look like that. The AFC West, the Raiders don't look like they go out and make the big splashes in the offseason. I don't know. There's still time, but I don't think they're going to be good. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team. I think the Chargers, it's going to be interesting to watch them. I know they've had some key injuries. Keenan Allen he's been ruled out again. I think that's 4 weeks in a row, but everybody was on the love Justin Herbert train, and the Chargers, oh my gosh, with their acquisitions. And man, they're Super Bowl bound, and so they haven't looked like they're Super Bowl. So I think the AFC West is interesting, although the Chiefs are doing what we all thought they were going to do. So those are probably some of the surprises. Matt Rule is probably one that could get fired. Ron Rivera could get fired.
Yeah.
There's always coaches in the NFL that are in big trouble. It doesn't take long for you to be on a hot seat.
Here's the deal with the Raiders real quick. The Raiders have a first-year head coach, right? I mean, Josh McDaniels, this is his first.
The guy who took him to the playoffs last year, they got rid of.
Yeah, I know. But that's what I'm saying. This is not like it's a continuation of what was happening with them last year. That team is done because you upset the apple cart by bringing in a new head coach, and we have all been around organizations who have brought in new head coaches, and even if it's the same player, you change that head coach, and the dynamics in the room, in the meeting rooms, on the practice field, all of that changes.
And Nathaniel Hackett looks lost, too. Well, he's one. Might not last a long time.
That's a whole nother thing.
All right, we'll come back, put a bow on Friday's edition and the first week of the McFarland Show here on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
It's a scorcher out there, but we've got tips that'll keep you chilling this August. Tip number 1, keep your AC in peak condition. Tip number 2, drink lots of fluids. Tip number 3, go for refreshing top prizes up to a cool $1 million by playing all new August Insta games from the Tennessee Lottery. All of these exhilarating games can lead to cold, hard cash. So head to the shade of your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer and enjoy some game-changing fun today.
Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Please play responsibly.
From scholarship and grant programs to providing students with the qualifications and certifications they need to start their professional careers, the Tennessee Lottery has awarded more than $6.5 billion in funding to education programs, and we're proud to play our part. See for yourself how all of the fun of the Tennessee Lottery goes to supporting someone's future and a brighter tomorrow at tnlottery.com.
The Omni Nashville Hotel, located 5th Avenue downtown, and proud sponsor of the Mid-State Checkdown High School Football Game of the Week, is Nashville's premier destination for the highest quality accommodations. Start your day with a cup of Bongo Java and the Biscuit Bar at Kitchen Notes. Indulge your taste with the best beef in Music City at Bob's Steak and Chop House. And wrap yourself in luxury at Macara Day Spa before enjoying a nightcap at Bar Lines. And when it comes time to host those holiday partings and gatherings of family, let the Omni Nashville Hotel take all the worry off your plate. Proud sponsor of the Mid-State Checkdown High School Football Game of the Week, and located in the heart of Music City, the Omni Nashville Hotel is your only choice. The Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
Greg Pogue back once again to tell you about Bongo Java, Nashville's oldest and most celebrated coffee company, now also located in the Omni Nashville Hotel. Reward yourself for surviving Nashville traffic with fresh, locally roasted coffee, classic handcrafted espresso drinks, and fresh baked goods all day long. And free Wi-Fi, so you don't have to work from home. Number 1 in customer service. You made it through the traffic. Reward yourself with a perfect pick-me-up at Bongo Java. Fresh coffee, delicious treats, great atmosphere. Open 6 a.m. until 2 p.m. daily. Bongo Java at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Get all your NASCAR news every weekday right here on the Final Lap. Hey, it's Kerry Murphy, and Chase Elliott has locked himself into the next round of the playoffs by grabbing the win at Talladega Superspeedway this weekend. Up next is a track he does pretty well at, the Charlotte Roval Road Course. So grab all the latest NASCAR news, race recaps, driver reviews, stats, and info every single weekday, same place that Chase does.
Hi, this is Chase Elliott, and you're listening to the Final Lap with Kerry Murphy.
Every single weekday.
Back here on the McFarland Show, dry back here. Darren and Justin McFarland. Let's get to some finals before we get out of here. The Predators get it done.
Yes, sir.
They win the first game of the regular season. They beat the Sharks 4-1. Matt Duchene finishes things off with an empty netter in the Czech Republic. So congrats to the Preds.
Queso and Frosty for everybody.
1-0 on the season with the 4-1 victory. Cardinals lead the Phillies 2-0. Top of the ninth. Guardians beat the Rays 2-1. And right now, all Mariners, they lead 3-0 over the Blue Jays in Toronto. Mike Vrabel ruled out some hefty names. They'll be without Zach Cunningham. They'll be without Amani Hooker. They'll be without Bud Dupree. They'll be without Traylon Burks. They'll be without Ola Adeni. I mean, Joe Jones. But Washington's got their entries as well.
They're leaking oil, too.
Yeah, they are. Justin, the first week is in the books.
Hey! Had a lot of fun. Let's do it again next week.
Let's do it.
It's gonna be interesting when we get back. We'll know if the Vols are for real or not, I guess. You know, that'll be the big thing. That'll be the game to me that I'm watching more than anything else. The Titans game is just okay. But the Vols,
lots to discuss. That'll do it for us. Everybody have a great weekend. Afternoon stretch is next.
Be safe.